Hi, people of God. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I've been dealing with an incident where I feel like someone's trying to steal my identity or something. Um, Recently, I had my Amazon account. I used to work for the schools here in the community, and when I started this Amazon account, I used my school address, email address, where I would use palmbeachschools.org email address instead of my own personal email address. So what happened after I stopped working, still kept it the same way. I could still access the account. So I had no purpose of having to remove the email address at all. Something happened where I started realizing, okay, now you gotta remove the email address because even my son's iScooter, he can't get the service that I had got because I got extended service. So if the scooter breaks or anything, he can get another scooter. He can't get that. So I changed the email address to my email address that I use on my phone. And I made sure everything was good, everything was okay, and kept going about my day. How about a few days ago, I had an incident where I'm trying to access my account. That email shows back up and says I have to verify through that email. I said I already took care of this. I stayed on the phone almost God knows how long with the representative to get it switched to my private email account. On top of that, the email that I had, they opened up a whole new account with the email on my phone. So I had to use a email address that I haven't used in years to get another account with Amazon. And I said, this is so weird because whoever did this had a intent to do this and everything. So I'm trying to situate it with Amazon because I feel like they're trying to use it to get medication, a whole bunch of different stuff that they're not supposed to get because there was an incident that happened that I was like, hold up, something's wrong here. Where I called Amazon to get my medication, which is my depot shot, and Amazon was like, no, you got to go see the doctor. So I don't know how much stuff done went down that wasn't supposed to go down or whatever, because in order to get medication and see the doctor through Amazon and do like a televisit, I had to give them my personal information, my ID information and everything. So I feel that they're using maybe my Amazon account to do inappropriate stuff. Then on top of that, I started working out a new job. So I have to call to get a pay card reissued to me or whatever the case may be. So I'm calling to get a pay card to receive my paycheck. They say, well, you got multiple pay cards issued in your name. I only remember one. But they say, you got multiple pay cards issued in your name for our company and stuff. So I told them, I said, well, can you close out all those pay cards? Because I don't use those pay cards. It should only be maybe one, which is this one. And all the previous pay cards that was issued on account, I want them closed. I don't want to no longer use those, right? And they were like, well, we can't do this and we can't do that. Long story short, even with Amazon asked me to verify my account by what cards have I used on the account. And so I gave them the last card I used, which was a prepaid Visa card, which I bought like a gift card to actually purchase some items for my grandkids off of Amazon. So I gave them that card number. They say, no, that's not the card number you use. I say, well, how is this not the card number I used when this is the last card I added? They say, it's not the card number you use. You did not use that card. I say, okay. They say that they couldn't verify my account, so I could not close out the account with palmbeach.org. They said that they could not verify whether or not the account belonged to me. This is the account I use with my Audible. This is the account that I use with my Amazon Prime, where basically I watch TV with it. This is the account that my television is connected to because I bought my Fire Stick from them and stuff like that. Everything that I got, I bought directly from Amazon. So all that is connected in together. Then on top of it, my son's iScooter is connected to that, which I never received his paperwork for because it went to the palmbeachschools.org account. But I'm looking at all of this. And even after telling them this is my account, after they can verify through sending it to my phone, because my phone is connected to that, they refuse to close that account. They wanted to keep that account active even after they switched my email address from my Google, from my, not my own Google, my Gmail account back to Palm Beach Schools. They refuse to close that account. And something I'm noticing, like this behavior is consistent with me personally, when they do something wrong in this community here, or when I'm dealing with certain stuff, they refuse to correct their mistakes. No matter how much evidence presents to them, no matter how valid the evidence is, no matter how consistent the evidence is saying this is wrong, they refuse to correct anything with me dealing with anything. However it plays with me, if they sit up there and they incarcerate me for the wrong reason, they're not going to correct it and say, I'm sorry. We incarcerated you for the wrong reason. They still want to penalize me and punish me for some weird reason. Even if I say, this is unfair, it's inappropriate, according to statute so-and-so in Florida law, statute state so-and-so, that this is not supposed to happen. They do not honor statutes with me. They do not honor valid evidence with me. They don't care how they treat me. It's that disrespectful. No matter what, they don't enforce no laws whatsoever. Even when it comes down to judgments and judges, right here in the 15th judicial system, you can call the chief magistrate itself and say, every case there is an inconsistency, state the matter, ask for a judicial review. They refuse to do a judicial review on any case. On any case. It doesn't matter what case it is. They refuse to do a judicial review. Basically, you got to deal, cope, or go through with it, right? I'm starting to notice it's consistent all across the board. They don't care. They don't want you to care. They expect you to sit there and take whatever they issue out. I never expected this. Like, I'm dealing with like people trying to steal my identity. Like, I'm getting emails of addresses talking about you can get rid of your student loan or whatever and stuff like that. Call such and such number, such and such number. Don't you live at such and such address? I never lived there. You didn't live at such and such address in West Palm Beach? I never lived there. When I say they're so flamboyant with stealing your identification, They're so flamboyant with stealing everything that's yours. They make mistakes. They'll send your child's social security number to a wrong address. To a wrong address. Intentionally. Your child suffers his identity being stolen because of them, and they refuse to give him a different social security number, refuse to do anything. When I say I'm so sick and tired of dealing with Florida and they BS, they're big stuff. Because I have never seen so much negligence. When I talk about negligence, I mean sheer negligence. Sheer negligence. The community that they're building, God forbid, because what I'm trying to say is this. A lot of this mess is demonic. They don't want to enforce on justice. What they're trying to do, they're trying to lock up innocent people. Consistent and constantly. Even with our entities, like if you file for an entity here in the state of Florida and you in certain judicial systems or certain districts or whatever the case may be, you're going to go through all out hell being targeted or whatever. You can't even give them your regular address. You have to know that if you give them your regular address, you can be kidnapped while you sleep at night. All kinds of stuff can happen to you. You already feel like you're living in a slave system already. Trust me, it gets worse if you're not aware. These people try to kidnap you, all kinds of stuff. Y'all have to really be careful because I'm going to be real with you. We're sending our kids to these schools and so much is going on in the schools. So much is going on in school. I see why those schools had to close for COVID. There is so much going on in our school systems where I don't feel comfortable even sending my son to school. This is an honest to God truth. And half of the corporates who are assisting and aiding and abetting this type of behavior is in high position, judicial positions, in enforcement positions. And that's part of the reason why half of this stuff isn't getting enforced that's supposed to get enforced. Half of this stuff isn't being done the right way. I understand we have to practice some form of leniency or whatever the case may be by warning the people of what's taking place. But right now, when I tell you everything is out of whack, horrible, and it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse. When I say stolen identity, I can't even tell you this. One job I'm working at, I go to cash the check. The bank that they have in the area says they don't even cash checks. I ended up having to go to a check cashing store, spend $31 to get a $500 and some check cash. Honestly, it is horrible. And nobody's divulging this stuff and telling the truth about the way things are. On top of it, I've been trying to get hired at another hospital, trying to work for another hospital and, get stuff off the ground. I'm starting to notice, honestly, a lot of these hospitals don't want to pay. The pay is deplorable. How you, economically, the pay for this system doesn't make sense. Because there is no way you charge a $2,000 for rent. And we don't do you cannot base my rent on where I choose to stay. See, because I stay hood. What this means is this. I stay in gutters. I stay in the gutter, in the hood. So staying in the gutter and in the hood, what this means, rent is cheaper for me because I'm realizing I got to stay in the hood in order to survive because I can't afford $2,000 rent. I can't afford $1,500 rent a month. So I got to stay in the hood. So I know that people aren't basing rent on the fact, okay, well, her location, she in the gutter, so we're going to base her rent on gutter locations. No. What's going on, the actual environment around us, their rent is $2,000 to $1,500 for a nice place to stay, a legitimate place to stay. I think the lowest I saw was like $1,300. Nice place to stay, 2-bedroom, pretty good community, or whatever the case may be. And this is like, you're not in the hood and you're not in suburbia. But when you go into a job, they only want to pay you $1,500. Everything is under $20 an hour. And you're like, hold on. You want me to work certain positions? I have access. See, access and who you give access to says a lot. So they want you to have access to people's private information, like their personal, private, personal information, right? They want you with access to all that. But even though you have access to all this personal, private information, they say to you, they say, okay, you got access to all this personal, private information, but what we're not going to do, we're not going to pay you fair wage. And they do this so much till it's ridiculous. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, they want to pay $18 an hour. Rent saying, this is the status quo for rent. That's all we can pay you. When you get paid $20 an hour, they're trying to find ways not to pay you. Honestly, like seriously, because I'm just gonna be real with them. Like, I ain't never seen no mess like this. So if they pay you $20 an hour, somebody getting two at some point from you, because they can't keep up with the piece of the thing of paying $20 an hour or anything above that. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, I got to get a second job. Then when you sit up there and you go apply for a second job, mind you, gonna already be tired. You already worked one job. That's a lot. Now you're trying to get a second job. That's a whole nother ball game, because now I got to work two jobs. I'm gonna be double the tired, and I got to do what I have to do to survive. You end up blackballed because, like, when I wanted to work two jobs recently, I had to let one go because I told the people, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to work for y'all because I already had an opportunity. They said they were going to start me out with like $23 an hour. I had that available. So I said, there's no need for me to take on this other job knowing that I would transition within a week or two. And I didn't want to do that. So I told them, I said, I'm good. I thank you guys for the opportunity. You're awesome. You're great, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to say I'm going to decline the job offer because I have another job that was finna pay me $23. Come time for me to get paid the $23 an hour, $20 an hour job, Monday through Friday, weekends off. All of a sudden, job falling through. I say, well, why is this job falling through when I need two jobs? This was part of my agenda. Why did this one fall through? And then I started noticing a lot of the job opportunities start falling through. And I'm like, man, something ain't right here. When I say something was so off to it didn't even make sense. But like to God be the glory. God has a plan. See, everything that happens to the woman or the man of God happens for a reason. And everything's going to work itself out for the good. But we have to give it time. But I had to get on here, tell y'all what I've been going through. Because y'all probably think like everything been peaches and cream. We ain't heard from her. She probably living the life. No, I'm still struggling. Still going through. Still trying to find opportunities because what behooves me the most about people, right? They think you make money from nothing. You have to have something in order to get something. So when I hear people say you make money from nothing, it behooves me because you can sit up there, you pick up scrap metal all day and still not get what you were supposed to get by picking up scrap metal all day. And they don't talk about that. People say, you can pick up cans, you can pick up bottles, you can do this, you can do that. Let me be real with you. It's not that easy to get money, to get income. I tell people this all the time. You're going to have to go work a job. A lot of us are working jobs and then trying to develop our own side gigs where we're our own entrepreneurs or whatever. But we have to hold down a legitimate 9 to 5. A legitimate 9 to 5. What that means is I can't play with it because it's just that crazy out here. It's just that crazy out here. We're going through rape situations. Law enforcement ain't doing nothing about that right now. You can catch an STD. These niggas, they out here raping. They out here raping people. Sodomite and Benjamites out here raping. And the reason why I say Sodomites and Benjamites, both of these are connected to what's supposed to be the holy bloodline from Noah's time. And they out here raping people left and right and getting away with it with no consequences. No nothing. But the moment a straight and narrow person, all they got to do is jaywalk and you ready to send them to prison for 1,000,000 years. A person that's raping, they ain't doing nothing to. But the person that's committing domestic violence against their partners, I don't even date no more. I'm going to tell you what situation I went through a couple of years ago. I was dating this guy, honestly, and this is what woke me up to how messed up the masquerade situation is and woke me up to the illumination, the illness of our people. What really woke me up to the devil blinding our people. I'm dating this guy. He punches me in my stomach. Full force. I'm actually having to try to defend myself. I go to jail for domestic violence. After being punched in my stomach, dude hauled off, punched me clean in my stomach. They sent me to jail. He did now day in jail, no time, no nothing. I sat back, I looked at a young man. He was a young man. And see, that's what a lot of dudes don't understand when they grow up in the church. When you from the church, you got to be careful who you hang out with, because you want to hang out with the thugs. You want to hang out with the people in the streets and stuff like that. They don't have no respect for us because we don't come from them. We're not, they not like us. I don't know how else to say it because, you know, we flirt with this line of sanctification. But we like that because of the raising of our people. And this is what's keeping us in desolation, because we're so relevant to the culture, where we can speak to the culture, but we can't speak God. See, and that's why I have to be careful with myself, because I'll say nigger in a minute. I'm dead serious, because my mouth is different because of my culturation. Like, I don't know how to sound holy when I speak a lot of times. And it's like a hindrance to me, because now I'm trying to refine myself, because it'll come out. So what's going on with our people is we're trying to fit into cultures that are Benjamites and Sodomites and everything that is not of God. That's what's going on with our people right now. And because we bear the fruit of unrighteousness and corruption, no matter whether it's 1, 2, 3 fruits, we bearing those fruits, and a righteous tree cannot bear forth corrupt fruit, nor can a corrupt fruit bear forth righteous fruits. Now comes a judgment where either you're going to live holy or you'll be sent to live with those Benjamites. Now, I remind you, the Benjamites can tell that you're not a Benjamite. The reason why he can tell that you're not a raven wolf, and you don't prey on people, and you don't carry the fruits of preying on people, is because of your conduct, because you came from the church. You didn't come from them. So no matter how much you drink alcohol, you don't add up to them. So they target us. We become a constant target for them. They don't have a problem with raping you off because you don't add up to their fruits. My fruits don't display what you is. So we go through rape. We go through all these different things because we're not like them. We're different. And being different means, hey, I got to actually be different. Even if we're raised up amongst them. And trust me, I'm one who have been raised in the gutters, in poverty situation that was unbecoming, or whatever the case may be. Even being raised like that, there is a difference in me and in them. And I never acknowledged that until I went through the situation with the domestic violence situation and all this different stuff, and had to realize evil trying to take over. Had to realize we had been programmed to be the lesser. This is coming from a person who has spent years and years in the community that I'm in, and I'm at the point where I'm saying, hey, now it's time to move. I don't want to be the gatekeeper to an evil city. I don't want to be the guardian over evil city. When we get to the point where we realize that the streets aren't even safe for certain people to be out at night because there's so much preying on it, and it hasn't gotten that bad, but it is bad. Because when I sit up here and I know for a fact that they have raped righteous women or old women coming from church at the nighttime, that they raped her and burnt her body and didn't care. Of course, we live in a Benjamite city, Sodomite city, where if righteousness ever was to come through, they might surround the righteous and tell them, say, we want to sleep with these people. And we at this point, I'm at this point in my life where it's either I transition and tell these people y'all can kick rocks or whatever. Now, some of us are marked by these people. The reason why you marked by them because they want to enslave you. See, that's why we going through all this different stuff where they trying to put you in jail, prison, and stuff like that for any little thing. You jaywalk. You in jail. You in prison. That's the attitude that they have towards our people because they never was for us because we ain't like them. So you didn't commit a crime, but you would be in jail and in prison for 1,000,000 years for crimes that you didn't even commit because they looking for sacrifices. And the sacrifice is you taking on their issues, their problems. They'll sit up there, they'll make you a rapist. Your children will become rapists in a sodomite community and a demonic community. Your kids will become something that they're not. This is part of the reason why God has been dealing with me in levels, telling me, hey, you need to really start thinking about transitioning and building a better community for yourself. And even if it take me going into isolation, then I'll do that. You got these people talking about Yahshua, Yahweh, and never talk about God or Jesus. I'm going to tell you why they never wanted you to talk about God or Jesus. They don't want you really say Yahweh or Yahshua either. They are doing this type of stuff to keep you from God. Keep you from reading the word of God. They told you Eve was the worstest thing in the Bible and she cursed all our people. That was a lie. You're going to see these people lie until you use discernment. When you hear the truth, pay attention. Adam and Eve was naked. Why is Adam and Eve walking around naked to begin with? Why is Adam and Eve walking around naked to begin with? Why weren't they clothed? Why weren't they clothed to begin with? And this is happening right now in the present time where you're so dumbfounded and out of it. It's people that are now saying they are masters over you because you don't have the word of God in you. This is what we're going through. This is an actual warfare and battle for your soul. For your soul. Some of us are getting married and we don't even know. You know, it's sad for me to tell people because I love to see the joy of people being happy to transition into marriage. I love to see the joy of people being happy to be with a partner. I love the fact that you're happy. The hardest part is for me to tell them, sweetheart, this season ain't the season for you to be married. This season ain't the season for you to go into your marriage. And everybody look at me and say, oh, you so, everybody ain't being raped off like you. Everybody ain't this, everybody ain't that. Sweetheart, you are. You are. I'm sick and tired of just holding it in because God gives me the gift to prophesy and see this mess in these sodomite cities and see what's going on in my community. You are. I'm tired of holding it back. You are being abused. You are going through so much. And guess what? They're not going to tell you that you will go through it for centuries and centuries and centuries. And then eventually you'll end up docile and they'll continue to go on doing what they're doing for centuries. It's just been like that, sweetheart. I don't know how else to explain it. But the sad part, we were always taught a marital bed is undefiled. Right? But now they don't marry you off to good fruit. My husband doesn't cheat. I don't cheat. My husband doesn't do this. I don't do this. Because even if y'all like that, you in a sodomite, Benjamite community. They rape your husband off and they rape you off. They will auction you off and sell you off at the highest bidder while you sleep at night and your children. You won't even know your children ain't with you. This is how nasty things are getting where we are. You won't even know that you don't have your child with you. You won't even know. In fact, let me go ahead on and dig a little bit deeper. You going through vision compromise, illumination, the devil, which is you not being able to see, smell, taste, or anything. You have never really even seen your child and how your child really looks. The whole lifestyle. We've been raising kids and we don't even know how a kid really look. This is where it's going to get real sad. Because some of our kids may have to observe us take care of another joker kid while they putting down on our children. Nobody's talking about that type of stuff. They putting down on your kid. You sitting up there with this joker kid or somebody else's child, and your child watching you take care of it, thinking it's him, and can't understand why you doing that, and it's because you can't see him. And your child falls into desperation and eventually does what they want them to do. They ain't telling the story like what it is. And those of us that are woke, that can tell, and guess what? I'm not even woke enough because I still deal with this devil. Still deal with vision compromise. I still deal with so many different things in this system and in what I'm going through, but I'm divulging it because that's half the battle. Because if you don't know what's going on, then how can you save us? So I talk about it on my YouTube page. Tell them about what's going on. Woe cometh. Yes, it is already here. Why they talking about Wakanda? Yeah, woe cometh. I know what you is. I've been here. I'm the one that fights back the darkness when it comes to this. And I'm blind as all outdoors with no way to combat anything. Docile. No. And they don't talk about it. They don't want nobody say nothing about it. But we got to talk about it because the enemy is already winning. The enemy is already doing stuff that should not be done. And we're running around here not telling people what's really going on. You're not telling that woman that she can't have sex because there are men that's ready to rape her off. And even if she don't have sex, that they still may rape her off. We can't tell our son the same thing because they want to teach a young man that part of being a man is you laying pipe. Let me tell you something. I realized in this season that we got to do our sons like we do our daughters. I got to protect him. I have a obligation to protect him as a man as though he was a woman because he needs protection spiritually from these sodomites and benjamites. And nobody's saying nothing. We taught our daughters, we taught our young boys, you're going to have to protect the women. But we ain't teaching these women to protect these young men out here. He goes through the same thing you goes through. He goes through being taken advantage of. Who is there for him? Who will protect him? She's going through the same thing, being taken advantage of. Who is protecting her? Iron sharpens iron. Protection offers up protection. But nobody's protecting nothing. And nothing is sacred. Watch out for yourselves. It's so much going on. These men don't even know they're being prostituted out too. They run around here, I'm a pimp, I'm a pimp, I'm a player, I'm a player. No, I'ma say it. I gotta say it. You a hoe because you in hoism. That's what you is. Pimp player, you are a whore. And it's a worship of hoism, which is actually a religion that they teach out in California of prostitution and adult behavior, adultery, sexual immorality. That's what they teach with hoism. And the proper term for people that worship in hoism is hoe, which is sexual immorality, which is one of the 10 Commandments. Which is one, and this is the one that we're going through the most, that we battle and we win the most. But guess what? The enemy is saying it doesn't matter. We had years with you out of it, going through the Adam and Eve syndrome, but you didn't even know you were naked. Well, we had complete control over you since you were a child, and we've been using you for hoism for God knows how many years. So the battle of undoing it takes 40 some years, 20 some years, God knows how many years, and maybe we can birth a nation that won't have to go through that. But at the same time, even with you sitting up there getting married, we're introducing hoism into your marriage, where they now are forcing their Benjamite men to marry women in the church. Yeah, it's been a church invasion for quite some time. And you don't know what's going on. It's been a temple invasion for quite some time, a mosque invasion for quite some time. The Catholic Church been invaded for quite some time. And what's happening is they're introducing you into a communal marriage. Do you know what a communal marriage is? Oh, we make sure they consummate their marriage. Why are you in them people's bedroom worrying about if they consummate their marriage or not? They ain't got to consummate their marriage. If they don't want to never consummate their marriage, they ain't never got to consummate their marriage. All they had to do was say, I do, and be done. If you want to hold hands for the next 30, 40, 60 years and hold your wife's hand and never touch her up under her clothes, you can do that. You don't have to consummate nothing. That's the hoism in this faith and religion, to turn you out into hoism. And nobody speaks on it. You can hold your wife's hand every day of the week. And guess what? When they know that you're married and you see her give birth to a child and you like, we didn't even touch each other the whole year, you'll know the truth. You'll know the truth. You know where Jesus come from now. You know what it really was and what it really is. Ain't no angel gonna come down and counsel you on this. Let me go ahead on and counsel you. You will know what it really is. Because they ain't gonna tell you the truth. That these women are being raped by some that think that it's a God. But it's a human being. And that's just as raw as it gets. I can't tell you you got hemorrhoids and you bleeding anally because men have slept with you anally and you can feel them anally sleeping with you. So now your butt hurts because these Benjamites ain't got no respect nor limitations placed on them, and they haven't dealt with the consequences of the abuse that they have issued out to you, your children, and your family. I can't tell you, but I'm telling it. I'm telling it. I can't tell you, but I'm telling it, that I grew up in this village, Covenant Village. A covenant, yeah. Occultic, ain't it? Seem like some mess they'll put you in. Um, I grew up where I would be laying in my bed, sleep. I would wake up with black eyes. Don't even know how I got a black eye. These things beat on you in the middle of the night, these people, not even knowing who they beat on. You can be switched out and replace someone offends them. They blank that person out and switch out with the person that didn't do nothing to them because they don't want to face the consequences. Yes, you can be blanked out. All the technology and tech that's being used against you right now was techniques used in prison situations. I kid you not. For some of the worst and deadly offenders it is. And they use that for average human beings and have labeled it under Illuminati, the devil, and all that stuff. When truth be told, some of this stuff was introduced in maximum security prisons as ways to control the inmates, and it is ways that you can remove it out. They had a blackout box. So they put something in these inmates' head. Okay, you want to go into war, you ready to fight, whatever. They black them out. You can't fight. It stops the nerve communication in the brain. CBI, computer brain interface. They put it in there. And I know you guys don't understand. This is why neuroscience has went to the way it has went, because basically they're going to cultivate humans like plants. And the process has already started. And that's why they look at you like an android, because basically they can puppeteer you, that bowler hat type attitude or whatever the case may be. But this is what we're dealing with. Now, if you see something wrong with the 10 Commandments, if you feel like the 10 Commandments is your enemy, then you perfect for the Benjamites. But if you feel like the 10 Commandments helps and grows you, then you perfect for the people of God. Now, I'm not finna lie to you. Honestly, you might not get now reward, now nothing to make you happy in this life whatsoever. I can tell you, the way this mess is set up, you gonna be like Lazarus. The dogs gonna have sympathy on you. And that's a group of humans that call themselves dogs, who are unrighteous, certified Benjamites, and they might have to take sympathy on you. That's just how bad this game gets. If they don't, you will be in the streets, struggling to make it every day. Because that's where we're at. It's the honest truth. Marriage isn't sacred. If I had a wife or a husband right now, or anyone that I'm dating, I would suggest you talk to them and tell them you don't want to have sex anymore. Because everything is trying to sleep with everything. And that's the truth. And they trying to do a now you see it, now you don't see it thing going on, where they're trying to cover it up. Your identity may have already been stolen. All I can tell you is, game plan for me is to work for myself at some point And when I'm working for myself, certain information I don't have to divulge or give to anyone. So I can change my social security number again. I can change certain, I can change my social security number, period, because I never changed it my whole life. But I can change my social security number. I can turn around and change certain identification because I can put in a request for a change of my driver's license number because they changed that already to the old driver's license number that I used to have a long time back. But I can put in a change of identification number and a change of my social security number, and I'm good. And I don't have to divulge any of my private information to anyone, period. And I think that is what's going to eventually happen, but it takes money to make money. It takes money to make money. And you can get out here and you can play and tell my, oh, I'm gonna make a billion, gazillion dollars and not have a dime to your name. So that's where I'm at, you guys. I know it's been a long one, but this is what been going on with me. Ain't nothing changed. I still go through rape situations. Um, I still see that certain things aren't gonna change. I'm still going under attack by all kinds of stuff. Stolen identity, stealing money out the mailbox, stealing checks. Oh, that's another thing. I filed for my income tax, right? I filed through the IRS for my income tax. I told them to send me a paper check. Just send me a paper check through the mail. How about all of a sudden out the blue they say that I gotta change my direct deposit account number. I never asked for direct deposit. I think it's something fraudulent, so I didn't even respond back to it because I asked them to send me a paper check. But that's the type of stuff I go through. And guess what? They ain't gonna change it. They ain't gonna correct it. They ain't gonna do nothing. Even when I correct it, they try to put it back the way they had it. Just life. Anyway, God bless you guys. Stay wonderful.